Alright, so let's talk about Freddy versus Jason next. This movie was a long time coming. Ever since Freddy's hand came popping out of the ground and grabbed Jason's mask and Jason goes to hell. People have been waiting for it. Waiting. It took 10 years from 1994 to 2004 for the film to come out. Now, like I mentioned before, out of any of the Friday the 13th or Nightmare on Elm Street movies, this is the first that I saw because it was when I saw heavily advertised, and once my great-grandma passed away and I got her horror movies, this was the first one that popped in because I always wanted to see it. But besides Scream and Child's Play, I was never really allowed to watch horror movies. I would sneak to watch rated R movies. You know, I could watch PG-13 horror movies like The Ring, but like rated R movies, I wasn't allowed to watch really until this point. Then I started being able to watch it. My mom started not caring. At this point, so it's just like that'd be 2005. So I was already 18, so it didn't really matter. But like, I just remember when I first put this in, and had not seen any Freddy movies or any Jason movies besides bits and pieces of some Jason films. Other than that, not really seeing a whole thing. Maybe I'd seen Part 8, Freddy Part 8, I don't know, but I can't remember at what point, what age I watched that, but I'm pretty sure it was before this, but, like, not knowing much about either franchise, and then putting in the first Nightmare on Elm Street afterwards, and then rewatching this again to see what kind of stuck with it, and now, years later, having watched all the Friday the 13th, all the Nightmare on Elm Streets, one of the main reasons why the story is disconnected from anything in either franchise, and really doesn't make any sense, seeing as Jason Goes to Hell was supposed to be a setup movie for this crossover, and they abandoned everything in that movie completely. Like, they had some setups in Jason Goes to Hell that they just ignored because they wanted to do a complete and total new movie, because that movie didn't do as well as I thought it was going to. And then virtually nothing from the Nightmare on Elm Street side really corresponded with anything from that franchise either. In fact, most of the Friday the 13th stuff was abandoned completely, other than Freddy taking the form of Jason's mother at the beginning. And I believe, if I remember correctly, they did ask Betsy Palmer to return. I think she was still alive at this point, but she said no. It would have been cool to see her again, but this actress, she did alright for her small little part. But like I said, it doesn't really have anything to connect with the rest of the franchise, other than a quick, what do you call that? Collage, or... on the tip of my tongue, the word you use when you... montage. Other than a quick montage of the kills from the first 6 films, including Freddy's Dead. You know, you see some clips here and there. Other than that, nothing from Friday the 13th. Other than a quick beginning where he's killing people in a dream. Which it makes sense that be an undead Jason. He's not actually dead. He's just kind of in a sleep. And Freddy wakes him up. And one of the things that always gets me is that this is heavily in the world of Nightmare on Elm Street. It's very Nightmare on Elm Street with Jason added in. But Jason gets all the kills but one. Freddy kills one person. That's Mark. That's it. Freddy sends Jason out to kill kill children from Elm Street to spread fear, so that people will start saying, "Oh, it's Freddy," because the people of Springwood have completely they've used Hypnostill. Anyone who's had an encounter with Freddy is now in a mental facility, Weston Hills, for the third film. There's a connection. another connection is that they've been taking hypnosil to stop their dreams, and they're being kept quiet so that Freddy doesn't spread anymore. He's been forgotten. And now he's forgotten, he can't hurt anyone. But, like I said, it's Nightmare on Elm Street with Jason in it. It heavily focuses on the lore the Nightmare on Elm Street has brought forward with its films, and they just put a little bit of Friday the 13th in there, which is kind of like, okay, sure. And as with all the Versus movies, you don't get much of the Versus in anything. You just want to see a movie where they fight each other for the whole time, but you gotta have the human characters, so to speak, the regular people doing their little plot line. Well, Freddy vs. Jason doesn't happen till like towards the end of the film, which is another, brings it down, but it just, you think Freddy vs. Jason, you end up in a fight for most of the film, which is why Godzilla vs. Kong, I don't know how they're going to do that, but who knows. Anyways, focus on this one. I don't want to say human characters, but the regular, the cannon fodder, the kids and whatever, decent actors, decent acting, all around, not too bad. Especially the character of Mark, played by Brendan Fletcher. Yeah, Brendan Fletcher. Very good. And really, his death is what kicks off Freddy's return, but it's the only death that Freddy does. You get this, Mark's kill is that Mark has fallen asleep, and he sees his dead brother who committed suicide, even though it was Freddy that killed him earlier. And he gets up, and he's the kid from the Christmas Story, the little, Zach, whatever. But, and, like, Freddy sets Mark on fire, and then on his back it says, Freddy's back. It's a message. Freddy's back. But there are other kills that are, like, Jason kills, basically, and that's, like, there's this one character, his name's Blake, I think, and he falls asleep and he gets attacked by Freddy, but Freddy's not strong enough. He wakes up to find his dad been decapitated, but his head flops off his body. That's not how decapitations worked. And then Jason kills him sort of off screen. You just see blood squirt out. And then there's Gib, played by Catherine Isabel. Freddy is stalking her in the dream, but she's killed by Jason on the in the real world, along with the party goers trying to rape her. So, Jason says no to rape. And then Freddy's just like, she's mine. Like he set forward Jason to kill. He kills these people at a party too. Snaps this guy's neck. He's on fire and he's killing people. Great. And let's see. Lindemann, played by Christopher. Marquette. Christopher George Marquette. Chris Marquette. He gets killed when he's flung into this bracket on the wall, and it pierces him, and he ends up dying internally by a tree. And then Kia, played by Kelly Rowland, she gets wrapped around a tree, thrown by Jason, and dies that way. Lachlan Monroe plays a cop, and he's killed by Jason. He's electrocuted. And they were so desperate to try to fit in, and they added a character that looks just like Jason Mewes. And he's a pothead just like Jason Mewes. And they have him. He dies. His death is memorable, but not my favorite. We'll get to my favorite. But, so he's all high. And much like Breckin Meyer's character from the last film, Spencer, he's in the token dream spell thing. And he sees this giant worm thing, which is Freddy, and it jumps down his throat, takes over his body, and causes him to dump all the hypnosil down the sink. And then he gets this thing full of tranquilizers, and he's ready for Jason. Jason comes around, and he ejects Jason with the things. Before Jason can go under, he takes the machete and slices him in half and kills him. Yeah. And like I said, the story has nothing to do with the previous film, and I was confused. Because they talk about, the story is that Laurie's mother was killed by Freddy. And her boyfriend, played by Jason Ritter, saw it. And so he didn't spread the panic that it was Freddy. And then he thought it was Laurie's dad that did it. Because Freddy possessed Laurie's dad, or looked like Laurie's dad to do it. And so he got sent to Weston Hills to keep quiet. So it didn't like raise, problems or whatever. But then there's this whole backstory which I thought was in the previous film. Okay, they're connecting. But I watched all the films when I bought that DVD set. I'm like, none of these connect to Freddy vs. Jason. What the hell? So they came up with the original story. They didn't connect to any of the other. But it would have made sense. What they could have done is they could have done a movie that they could have had. Well, no, because then it wouldn't make sense that this would take place in 2003. I was going to say it could have been Nancy. Because it kind of makes sense the way that they're portraying it. Because Freddy did kill Nancy's mother. So they kind of took that story, but they made it Laurie instead of Nancy. Because it makes more sense to bring in this new character than Nancy, who's probably in her 30s at this point. Maybe even older. But I'm just saying. And then Will, that's his name. Will. So, my favorite kill comes, there's this douchebag, his name is Trey. He's dating Gib, played by Catherine Isabel, and he's just a douchebag. Like, she comes up to him and she kisses him, and she smokes or whatever, and he's like, "Well, I tell you about kissing me after you smoke." And like, they have sex, and then she hops in the shower. He's like, "I don't like to be touched after," or whatever. And she jumps in the shower. Jason comes, and he stabs the dude with his machete, and then folds him up in the bed like a taco. Boom! Bam! Douchebag dead. My favorite kill of the movie. Yeah. Damn. Memorable kill, too. What else is there to say? Like I said, the story is like a negative, positive mix because I like the story, but it isn't connected to the other films. I think what they should have had, what they needed to have done, and I know there's continuity in most of these, is a film that connects to both franchises in a way, like bring Nancy back, or a survivor like Alice. There's still some story threads left undone with Alice and her son. Could have brought her back. On the other side, Tommy Jarvis. Like, we never really had a big conclusion with him. Bring Tommy Jarvis back. If you wanted to ignore the stuff brought forth by Jason Goes to Hell, fine. But you could have brought in Tommy Jarvis to connect the franchises together. Tommy Jarvis would have been awesome in this movie. I mean, there was even comic books that brought Ash from the Evil Dead in there. Because in Jason Goes to Hell, there's the Necronomicon is at the Voorhees house, and it's supposedly, in the comics, Jason's mom brought him back the first time using Necronomicon, which makes no sense, because he wouldn't have been, he looked kind of freaky at first anyway, but could he even make sense why he wasn't killed until the final when he got his head chopped to pieces, but... Which, by the way, I never discussed this, but Tommy Jarvis chops the hell out of Jason's head at the end of part 4. How the hell in part 6 is it still in one freaking piece? The thing should have pieces chopped out of it and dents and everything. Just saying. Otherwise, guys, Freddy vs. Jason is a pretty good film. I can't think of anything else to say about it. It's a pretty good film. I'm giving it a 7 out of 10. Go watch this, because it's a pretty good film. The ending. I got about the ending, of course, because there's an alternate ending. The original ending, and this is my take on it, because people have, who won? Freddy vs. Jason, is it nobody? this is my take on the ending. So, in the ending, the two lone heroes, Lori and Will, they blow both of them up. And they think they're dead. They walk off together. And then the next scene, we see Jason walk out of the water. And he's holding Freddy's hand. And Freddy winks at the camera. People have gone to speculate that because this happened, Jason wins and he's going to kill Freddy. He's going to chop his head in half. And Jason wins. I've always seen it as Freddy won. And now he's complete control of Jason. Because he's the head. He's got the head. Because why would Jason take Freddy's head out of the water? Why don't he just chop it there, leave it in the water, let it float? Unless Freddy was controlling him to take his head out of the water, and Freddy won because he's now in control of Jason completely. That's always my thought. The alternate ending is that Will and Lori are finally going to have sex. And they're in bed, and they're doing it, and Will starts being too rough, and she tells him to stop, and he turns into Freddy with the claws, and then it ends. That's the alternate ending. I kind of like the theatrical ending better, because it says that it could continue, which the sequel has been in developmental hell forever. I think they finally, said we're not going to be able to do a sequel, but, you got the comic books for that. Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash and all that stuff. Like I said, it's a 7 out of 10. Very good film. Go watch it. Like, share, and subscribe. And of course, welcome to primetime, bitch. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing the remake. And I'm going to be doing the while that's uploading, I'm going to write down my ranking. I'll do my ranking video after it's uploaded, after the remake review is uploaded, and then I'm going to start my next franchise, which I will reveal tomorrow during the ranking video. So look forward to that. So until then, like, share, and subscribe. Welcome to Primetime, bitch.